on 680 CJOB. Raywat, great to have you with us again. I hope you're well.
I am. Thank you very much.
Here in Manitoba, our chief provincial public health officer saying that if you're over the age of 50, get that second booster. If you're immunocompromised and over 18, get that booster. If you're Indigenous over the age of 30, get that booster. Are we latecomers to this, or are we joining the party just in time?
You're joining the party just in time. In fact, in Ontario, we're latecomers to this as well. Those over 50 are not yet eligible. I think right now here, it's those over 60 can get it. In other parts of the world, like the USA, those over 50 are indeed eligible. I think it makes sense. Look, we're still in the Omicron wave, even though it is diminishing. And if you're going to get added protection, now is a good time while it still means something. It's always going to mean something, but it means something, extra special right now. And the advantage of that fourth dose is that it reduces the risk of infection by twice as much. It reduces the risk of hospitalization by 4 times as much. And it reduces the risk of transmission appreciably, something that the 2 and 3 doses have waned in doing. So it will help blunt the wave appreciably.
Why do you reckon that, yes, dose 1, dose 2, Canadians rolled up their sleeves, dose 3, not so much, and I fear for dose 4 on it?
Yeah, it's because of the narrative. There's so much noise in the system, people saying, well, the vaccines don't work. Of course they work. Or people saying the vaccines don't prevent infection. They do, just less so than they used to, and the fourth dose absolutely does. And also there's this fear that we're going to have interminable number of additional boosters every few months. And I understand that fear. It's possible we'll have more boosters in coming months and years, but not interminably so. So I think people need to take a step back and look at the broader picture here. This is not about the rest of your life. This is about the next couple of years to make sure we put a foot on the throat of this monster before it gets out of control again. Because the pandemic is ending. It comes down to what level of endemicity we're going to accept at the ending phase.
And perhaps smallpox is not a great example given what's happening with monkeypox, but the regular vaccine schedule for smallpox ended in 1972. I was a baby. So these things do end. We do eradicate disease. But again, perhaps it's a good reminder that vaccine isn't a cure. It's just supposed to tamp down if you get said illness and make you not get quite as sick, correct?
Correct, and it also protects those around you, especially those who cannot be vaccinated, like small kids. And I do want to say, though, it's unlikely we're going to eradicate COVID for a number of reasons having to do with the innate properties of the disease. But we can certainly learn to control it like we do with so many other diseases. And frankly, we're going to get better vaccines very soon. At least 16 clinical trials are underway for intranasal COVID vaccines, which show great promise in preventing transmission appreciably.
And when it comes to vaccines, I think people forget because, I think I saw a study the other day that how many people are behind on their routine vaccinations that they should just be having throughout their life. But we forget as people text in and say, another booster, this is 3, this is 4. That is not unusual for vaccines, is it?
No, 3 and 4 is not unusual. And I think the attitude should be another booster. Oh, thank you. Thank you, public health, for giving me access to this modern marvel of medicine that we could not have hundreds of years ago. Hence, we have enormous quantities of death. People forget about the vaccine schedule because they're so successful and we don't see the suffering and death all around us that we would otherwise be seeing. So do not forget that.
That CDC report today on the second booster for children, and we're still waiting for confirmation about the little ones and their ability to get vaccinations. When do you think that that's going to be a reality, Raywat?
I really thought it would happen by now. I'm hoping that June they'll get the go-ahead. I'm pretty confident by early summer we'll get the go-ahead in the USA and probably here as well. It comes down to what the data looks like after 2 doses, but I think the early whisperings are that the efficacy is like 40% for symptomatic disease, which is good enough. It's good enough to really quell the probability of hospitalization for a large number of kids. It's something that a lot of parents, myself included, are waiting for.
Raywat, we always appreciate you popping on with us. Thank you so very much, as always, for joining us this afternoon.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.